They've cut the capital gains tax. They did that. They did that as part of the coalition government.
No, they raised the capital gains tax in the coalition government.
Well, what I'm saying, Andrew, and
what you're saying is wrong. They raised the capital gains tax to 28%.
What I'm saying is that.
Hi guys, thanks for joining the channel. It's interesting, isn't it, that politics, they say, a lot of things can happen in a week in politics, and certainly when we are discussing this particular person, that's absolutely the case. What we're talking about today is potential for Angela Rayner to be the next Prime Minister of this country. It's probably something that a few years ago could never have been contemplated. Never. Astonishing, really, that somebody could even reach the Deputy Prime Minister role. But to actually believe that she could be Prime Minister, in charge of the Labour Party, but Prime Minister of this country, is quite literally unbelievable. But we might nearly be there, believe it or not. Astonishing. And I think it just goes to show you the calibre of MP that we have in this country right now. A shocking calibre. I don't think it's ever been as bad. Why that is, I don't know. Whether it just doesn't attract people anymore that are, statesman-like and have a good, rounded career behind them in business or something like that. You look at the Labour cabinet at the moment, and not one person has ever run a business. And I just thought it was worth revisiting this astonishing piece of footage. It's only a short video, and this was an interview that she had prior to one of the previous, I think it was it 20, could have been 2016, 2015, something like that. And it was Angela Rayner trying to explain corporation tax, amongst other things. And it was obviously Andrew Neil is an absolute tyrant when it comes to people not knowing what they're talking about, especially if they're in an elected position. So it's well worth a watch. This lady that you're about to see could be the next Prime Minister of the UK. And I think without further ado, we need to just let's have a look at what we're talking about. And here we go.
Services
so
and home
can I
care
bring you back to
services.
my question? What would Labour do?
Well, we've already talked about, some of the taxation decisions that the government have made around inheritance tax, capital gains tax, corporation tax, where you've given away money. Okay. This is what Jeremy was talking about in Prime Minister's question today. You've given away money that actually, quite frankly, we need to spend. And it's not just about an ageing population. That is phony. People know about the ageing population for some time. We've cut the criteria so people can't get community care. We treat our older people at the moment like dogs. It's a disgrace. We shouldn't do that.
But excuse
we should
me,
be investing and putting the money in the primary care
Would you
services.
reverse the cuts on corporation tax?
I think that the cuts on corporation tax are missing the point, because we need that money. We need that money at the moment.
Would you reverse it? Hold on.
Inheritance tax.
Would you reverse them?
I think that at the moment, cutting at a time where we need those services and people need those services is the wrong decision to
But
make.
I'm asking you, would you reverse the cut in corporation tax?
But I'm telling you, Andrew, that our priority is
you're
not
telling me the question.
I am. I'm saying that the cuts in corporation tax, the cuts in inheritance tax, the cuts in capital gains tax.
But what's the cut in capital gains tax?
But what's really important, Andrew...
No, excuse me, I'm asking you a question. What's the cut in the capital gains tax?
They've cut the capital gains tax. They did that. They did that as part of the coalition government.
No, they raised the capital gains tax in the coalition government.
Well, what I'm saying, Andrew, and
what you're saying is wrong. They raised the capital gains tax to 28%.
What I'm saying is that they've given tax cuts to absolutely the richest in the country at the same time where they've told the poorest people in this country over the past, it is true, at the same time that you've told the people in this country over the last 6 years, we've got to cut our coffee. No, let me finish this point, because you've interrupted me and I want to make this point. It's really serious to people in this country that you've told people we've got to live within our means, we've got to have this austerity, we've got to cut. You've cut, and do you know what? Debt's rising, and the amount of money that's going into the economy, you know, you've not made it better. Our economy is worse as a result of 6 years of austerity, and now you're saying all of a sudden we can spend money.
No, hold on.
And that's wrong, because you're spending it.
You're just off now.
No,
let me bring you back to let me bring you back to the question. Look, you think there may be an election coming up, so you need to get your policies right. What would the capital gains tax be under a Labour government, and how much would that raise compared to now?
But I've told you, Andrew, what our priority is. It's about how we invest in our public services.
No, I'm asking you how you would raise the money. How much money would you recoup?
Those taxes.
Excuse me, it's important you ask the questions because you want people's votes. How much extra money would you raise by changing the current corporation tax and capital gains tax structures?
But Andrew, we've talked about in absolute detail about the current tax system, and we said actually that the money that the decisions that the government have made and the decisions on where they're spending current money is completely inappropriate.
So how much would you say?
You've cut 50%. In my constituency, both of my councils have seen over 50% cuts to their budget. So all of the people that need support are in acute services now, crippling our NHS.
So you would be able to give them more money by changing the corporation tax and changing the capital gains tax to raise more money.
You don't cut taxes when you need that money to help. You should be investing.
You don't know, do you?
You should be investing
in those
services. No, Andrew, I'm talking about investment with the money we've currently got. At the moment, the government are not investing that money in our communities, in our areas where it's required. They're spending, they're cutting tax for those that are the richest, and they're spending money in the wrong places.
I'll give you, because I'm lost.
Wow, there you go. She just didn't get it at all. Absolutely clueless. All Angela Rayner is all she is just rhetoric. She's got no depth of knowledge. She doesn't understand the basics of tax, or maths in general. She is a typical sort of shop steward type, a union person that just does not understand anything, any depth. She just spews rhetoric all the time, and hopefully nobody picks her up on anything. But you can't get away with that with Andrew Neil, because he wants to dig deep, and he can smell a fraud straight away. And he knew. In fact, he was nice to her. He didn't actually humiliate her like he could have done. He could have really gone for her, but he didn't. It was astonishing, really. He let her off the hook, to be honest. But anyway, just thought that was interesting. And this person could well be the next Prime Minister of this country if Starmer gets the boot, because there's a lot of people now, backbenchers in the Labour Party, are getting a little bit sick and tired of Starmer and what he's doing. And she could be it. So our country could be run by that person. How embarrassing is that? It's absolutely ridiculous. Terrible. Anyway, thanks very much for joining us again, and I appreciate if you could possibly subscribe, and we're bringing more great content, more content like that. But I thought it was well worth a watch, that, even though it's an older video. Still probably a lot of people haven't seen it, and certainly a lot of people over in America haven't seen it. So anyway, thanks very much for joining us, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks very much. Bye.